would ram his horn through the ribs of Frost.
7. Peter DeLuna, 2024. Only 22 years old, Peter DeLuna was a rising star, a Texas cowboy with fire in his spirit and his eyes locked on greatness. Hailing from San Antonio, he had barely a year in professional bull riding, yet every ride showed his relentless hunger to prove himself. But rodeo is as unforgiving as it is thrilling. In June 2024, at the Riding on Faith Rodeo Summer Series in Mansfield Arena, Bandera, fate delivered its cruelest blow. Peter was thrown from a raging bull, then trampled beneath its weight. Against all odds, he managed to stand and walk away, only to collapse moments later. Emergency crews fought desperately to save him, but the arena that echoed with cheers quickly turned silent. Peter's final ride had come too soon. Family and friends remembered him as bold, magnetic, and full of life. A young man who embraced every moment with unshakable courage. Now his name lives on among those who gave everything to the sport they loved. 6. Mason Lowe, 2019. Mason Lee Lowe wasn't just another rider, he was a cowboy born for the arena. With raw talent and unshakable determination, he quickly rose through the ranks of the professional bull riders PBR circuit, marked as one of the brightest young stars destined for greatness. But on January 15th, 2019, destiny had other plans. Inside the Denver Coliseum, Mason mounted a massive bull called Hard Time, a name that would prove devastatingly prophetic. The beast exploded out of the chute, bucking with ferocity. Within seconds, Mason was thrown hard into the dirt. Before he could recover, the bull's hooves came down with crushing force on his chest. The blow was catastrophic. Though his protective vest absorbed some of the impact, the sheer power shattered his ribs, tore open his aorta, and ruptured his heart valve. For a brief, haunting moment, Mason staggered to his feet, clutching his chest and gasping for air. Then, his body gave out. At just 25 years old, Mason Lowe was gone, becoming only the third rider in PBR history to lose his life during competition. His passing sent shockwaves through the rodeo world, a chilling reminder of the merciless dangers riders face every time they nod for the gate. Yet Mason's name endures, not just as a fallen cowboy, but as a legend who gave everything for the sport he loved. 5. Seth Saulteaux, 2021. In Alberta, the rodeo world was shaken by the loss of Seth Saulteaux, a 19-year-old Indigenous bull rider whose promising life ended far too soon. His final ride took place at the Chiniki Rodeo grounds west of Calgary, a night that would be remembered in sorrow. Seth, a proud member of the Erminiskin Cree Nation from Masquatches, had been living on the Tsuut'ina First Nation when he entered the arena for what no one knew would be his last ride. During the competition, a devastating head injury struck him down, though he managed to finish the ride. Moments later, he collapsed, never regaining consciousness. The tragedy was later confirmed by rodeo spokesman Reg Fountain, who echoed the heartbreak rippling through the close-knit rodeo community. Seth's passing wasn't just a loss of a young cowboy, it was another brutal reminder of the dangers that come with the sport. Because in bull riding, even skill and courage aren't always enough. History has shown that even legends, like Lane Frost, have paid the ultimate price in this unforgiving arena. Quattro, Amadeu Campos Silva, 2021. At only 22, Brazilian rider Amadeu Campos Silva was already carving his place among the sport's fiercest competitors. Battling on the PBR Velocity Tour in Fresno, California, he rode with fearless determination, chasing a dream that few dared to pursue. But rodeo can turn from glory to tragedy in the blink of an eye. Mid-ride, Amadeu's spur snagged in the bull rope, pulling him off balance. In that instant, he was thrown beneath the massive animal's path. Gasps filled the arena as the bull's hoof came crashing down on his chest, delivering devastating internal injuries. Medics rushed to his side, fighting desperately as he was transported to the hospital, but the wounds proved too severe, and Amadeu's journey ended that day. His passing was more than a personal loss. It was a chilling reminder of the unforgiving nature of bull riding. This sport demands not just skill, but extraordinary courage and the will to stake everything on every ride. And the next story belongs to another young cowboy who carried that same fire, Denim Bradshaw. 3. Denim Bradshaw, 2023. January 28th, 2023, King, North Carolina. Inside the Rafter K Rodeo, a 14-year-old cowboy named Denim Bradshaw prepared for the ride of his life. It was meant to be his very first step into the world of bull riding, the moment where a dream began. but instead, it became a night the rodeo world will never forget. As the gate burst open, Denim held on with everything he had. Seconds later, the bull's violent power threw him hard onto the dirt floor. Before he could recover, a hoof slammed down on his chest, triggering cardiac arrest. Emergency crews raced to save him, fighting desperately against the clock. Yet by the time he reached the hospital, Denim's young life had already slipped away. To those who knew him, Denim was pure energy, fearless, vibrant, and always ready with a smile that could light up a room. His family and friends remember a boy who lived with joy and embraced every challenge head on. But his tragic end reignited a painful truth. In the brutal world of bull riding, age is no shield, and even the youngest riders face the ultimate risk. And just like Denim, another young life was claimed too soon. Seth Saulteaux. 2. Brent Thurman, 1994. Brent Cullen Thurman wasn't just another cowboy, he was a powerhouse in the arena. Known for his fearless rides and electrifying performances, he also earned respect as a rodeo judge, proof of his deep knowledge and dedication to the sport. But on December 11, 1994, inside the bright lights of Las Vegas at the National Finals Rodeo's 10th and final round, tragedy struck. That night, Brent drew one of the most dangerous bulls of the event, Red Wolf. Midway through the ride, the beast erupted, throwing Brent violently to the dirt. But the nightmare had only begun. His hand was trapped in the rope, leaving him defenseless as Red Wolf's massive hooves came crashing down on his neck and chest. The arena fell into stunned silence. For a fleeting moment, Brent lifted his head, fighting for life. Then his body fell still. He was rushed to the hospital and placed in a coma, but after 6 long days, the injuries proved insurmountable. On December 17, 1994, at just 25 years old, Brent Thurman's fight came to an end. His death left a scar on the rodeo world, a chilling reminder that in bull riding, courage is never enough. The arena gives glory, but it can just as easily take life, just as it would years later with another fallen cowboy, Mason Lowe. 1. Lane Frost, 1989. Lane Clyde Frost was more than a bull rider. He was a living legend. With fearless determination and unmatched talent, he mastered some of the fiercest bulls in the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, but the very sport that built his legacy would also seal his fate. On July 30th, 1989, the Cheyenne Frontier Days in Wyoming roared with energy, a celebration of cowboy grit and raw courage. Lane delivered an impressive 85-point ride atop a powerful Brahma bull known as Taking Care of Business. The crowd erupted, but triumph turned to tragedy in an instant. As Lane dismounted, the bull spun back with deadly force, slamming him into the dirt. Its horn pierced his back, shattering ribs and tearing through a major artery. Summoning every ounce of strength, Lane staggered to his feet and signaled for help, but the damage was irreversible. Moments later, he collapsed, his life slipping away before thousands of stunned spectators. At just 25 years old, Lane Frost had already written his name in rodeo history. His tragic final ride transformed him from champion to eternal icon, forever remembered alongside another fallen cowboy, Brent Thurman.